What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Next Gear. In this video, we're going to be going over how I downshift. I had a comment on one of my previous videos. He was asking about how I did it because he was having trouble or he just didn't know if he was doing it right. Downshifting can be a little tricky. It took me like a month or two to actually get it down. And I mean, still here and there I'll fuck up sometimes, but you know, that's just how it is with downshifting. So anyways, we'll go ahead and get right into the video. So the first thing about downshifting is going to be, you're going to have to think about your speed, and you're going to have to also think about your RPMs. So let's say you're cruising in 6th gear at like 65 miles per hour, right? So what you're going to want to do is whenever you go into 5th, being that you're at 65 miles per hour, your RPMs are going to be pretty low, being that you're in 6th gear. So let's say you were in 5th gear at 65 miles per hour. Your RPMs are going to be a little bit higher than 6th gear because 6th gear deals more with top speed than 5th gear does, and so on and so forth. So 4th gear is going to be even higher. 3rd gear, even higher. 2nd gear, you've probably blown up your engine by then. And especially 1st gear, never go in 1st gear at 60-something miles per hour. That's just not going to end well. But so that's kind of how you have to think about it. The higher the gear, so let's say you're in 6th gear, the higher speed you could be at a lower RPM. The lower the gear, so like 1st, it's going to be the lower RPM you could be at for the lower speed. So let's say we're in 6th gear, we're at like 1500 RPM, right? And we want to downshift to 5th so we could get a little bit more torque in. This is kind of the purpose of it, is to slow down for one, engine braking. And for 2, it's going to be so whenever you downshift a few times, you'll have a lot more torque built up, so that way whenever you punch the gas in a race or something, you'll be able to go. Or like, let's say you have to merge into traffic or something, it's a good idea to downshift, get that down. So what we're going to say is we're at 1500 RPM in 6th gear, so you're just going to downshift. So whenever you go to downshift, you're going to push the clutch in. And as you're going into 5th gear, you want to rev it up just a little bit. You're going to blip the throttle just enough to catch from 1500 to, like, let's just say hypothetically it goes up to 2000 RPM. So you're going to blip it just to where it'll get to 2000 RPM. Now the RPM that you're aiming for is, let's say you're in 5th gear already and you're going 65 miles per hour. That's going to be right around where you want your RPMs to end up whenever you go from 6th to 5th. And same thing with 4th. If you're in 4th gear cruising at 65 miles per hour, your RPMs are going to be higher. So that's what you're going to aim for when you go from 5th to 4th at 65 miles per hour. So there's going to be two kind of motions. There's going to be your hand motion and your foot motion. So we'll start off with your hand motion. So when you're in 6th gear, you're just going to shift it to neutral and then shift it to 5th. Now this should be one smooth kind of transition, right? So that you're going to work on that 6th to 5th. And then whenever you're working with your feet, clutch in, shift it to neutral. As you're shifting it to neutral, blip the throttle. The RPM should still be up by the time you get into 5th gear and release off the clutch. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. We're probably going to do this at a lower gear, seeing how I'm going to be on a neighborhood kind of road. Alright, so right here you can see I'm at about almost 2000 RPMs in 4th gear. And like, let's say I want to go back into 3rd at about 45 miles per hour. So I'm going to clutch in, blip the throttle, shift it into 3rd, all at the same time. It should be one kind of continuous motion. So it's going to look something like this. So that went up about 500 RPM. So let's say I want to get into 2nd. 2nd gear, being that it's a lower gear and you're at a higher speed, 2nd gear, you're going to need to give it a little bit more gas than you did with 3rd gear. So 2nd gear, we're going to go ahead and blip the throttle. So that's going to end up right there at 3,100 RPM. So each car is going to be different. Let's say if you have a Mustang, you might have a higher RPM that your second gear sits at. If you have different gear ratios, that's going to also change how your RPMs are laid out. So don't just kind of focus on me. You have to do it with your car to understand it. But so one way to figure out that you're revving it too high, so I'm gonna demonstrate it right here. It's gonna jump like that. It's not gonna be smooth like how it was earlier. It's just gonna lurch you forward, giving it a little bit too much gas. Now let's say I just didn't give it enough gas or no gas at all, right? So right here we're at 44 RPM. We're gonna shift from third to second. It's gonna pull you forward again. So whenever you can comfortably, let's see, I'm gonna do it right here. Whenever you can comfortably blip the throttle, just like that, you shouldn't feel any kind of, you might feel like a little bit of a lurch, but it's not gonna be nothing hard like how it was earlier. So let's see, we'll do it from a higher gear. So let's go from fifth to fourth. We're at 50 miles per hour. We're at about the same RPM. So right here, you're not gonna give it as much throttle. So it was barely anything to get into fourth. Now third, a little bit more. Second, just like that. So really, it's not about how to do it. It's about how many times you've done it. That's what I figured. It's just practice on it a lot. Some days you're gonna just get it spot on. Some days it's just gonna be like, man, why do I even buy a manual car? This, you know, it sucks, blah, blah, blah. Nah, don't think that. Don't think negative. Just get in your car, go out, drive, practice this. Practice this with your feet. If you got to go to a parking lot just to practice downshifting without moving, that's what I did for a little bit. I practiced that, so I'm going to demonstrate how you do that. Now for this, you're just going to want your car off. So let's say you're in fourth gear, right? Now you got your foot clutch, your car ain't going nowhere, you don't have to worry about messing anything up. So fourth to third. So I'm gonna do it kind of slow. So clutch in, neutral, blip with your right foot as you're going into third, and then release the clutch. So it should be something like this. So it's gonna be something just like that. I just scraped the out of my fucking exhaust. See, that's why I need to just get rid of it. Get rid of the dual mode exhaust. And that's another thing, my exhaust actually did break. That's why it's so quiet right now, and it's kind of harder to show you guys how to do it. So yeah, so we'll just do it one more time for you guys. We're gonna go all the way down to second. So right here, we're at 47 miles per hour in fifth gear, fourth, third. You're gonna learn where your car likes to be at. And then once you're at that point, you're able to just do a lot more. So yeah, and even whenever you're in neutral, cruising like this, if you have to get out of gear for some reason, you can throw it back into gear. Blip the throttle, and it'll take you back to where you need to be at. So yeah, it's really just practicing. Practice, practice, practice. So if you guys find this video helpful, please leave a like. Comment any questions you may have about the car, like about your situation. Just leave a comment below. I'll try my best to type it out and try to explain it to you guys. I know this is kind of a tricky topic to kind of learn, but yeah, just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys need help with. And then just subscribe if you guys enjoy the videos and want to see more. I'd love to keep on producing some videos for you guys, and give me, you know, ideas in the comments, just like this guy. He gave me an idea, oh, go film how to downshift. So now I kind of got that out for you guys. And I know they do have a lot of tutorials out there online. Go check them out. I recommend it. I've looked at a ton of videos. It's just better to get kind of a perspective from different people on how to downshift, because if you can see from, oh well, he's doing it like this, he's doing it like this, let me put 2 and 2 together, you'll really learn how to just kind of take it all in and apply it. That's what I had to do. So yeah guys, I hope you have a good one.